I believe that retirement is like going out of fashion or simply just dumb. It's just an incredible concept to me. I mean, I grew up in an era, I'm 72 years old already, and in an era where, God, what you do is at 60 years old or something, you move down to Florida. I lived in Pennsylvania, in the cold weather up there. And you move down to Florida and play golf for the rest of your life. I think, God, why do I want to do something that I'm lousy at for the rest of my life? I mean, if I was a good golfer, I'd be a professional golfer or something and really, contribute something. But boy, just to do that just seems nuts to me. And that's why I think most people in Florida just seem cranky to me, They're working on their golf game or their social life. I mean, part of that is important, but it's not a reason to live. I mean, I think the reason we're here is to contribute to other people, and to help. So maybe you want to do that as a nonprofit or a volunteer. I mean, that's the joy of living. It's not saying how much toys you can get and accumulate more, and, sit on the beach for the rest of your life. Who needs you in the world if you're just doing that? There's so many problems to solve. And also what I see is as you get older, man, I think people retire. If you want to retire in your job, I just think you have the wrong job. You're doing the wrong thing. You don't want to be there. So it's drudgery. It's eating you from the inside out, and it's miserable every day. So I think our goal in life is not to retire. It's to build a life that we're contributing as much as possible and doing something and having control of our life. And I think now with the internet and everything in our society that's available, we can do that. And if we have a job that we have to keep making money on it or whatever, man, we could start doing that part-time. Why not, instead of investing in the stock market or something with your extra cash, you invest in something that really gives you money and you learn that you could do for the rest of your life on part-time or something. I mean, you have you're an artist or whatever, man, there's websites now on the internet. They're giving out $1 million a month for people to live on as an artist. So maybe you could start doing something like that, or you have another idea, or you have a nonprofit you want to start. That's something that you could build to learn how to give income to you for the rest of your life. You're worried about Social Security not being enough or whatever, but there's other ways to make money. And not in a traditional job. There's more. I mean, they say now, I see data, in 5 years, 50% of us will be freelancers, making money just from home, freelancing, doing things on the internet or using Uber or Airbnb and all these ways to make money on the side. Or develop a service or a practice. You always want to be a coach. So get paid and learn, how to be a coach. And that's what you could do. You could learn things on the internet now more than any before. You don't have to get degrees. You don't have to get, certified and all that, unless you want to be some old established profession. But all the new stuff you could do without any training or whatever. And man, I mean, to me, that's the way I stay healthy. I think I'm more energetic about life now than I ever have been. And that's really because I have something I want to do every day and I can't wait to get up to do it. Man, it's more fun than playing golf. I'm shitty at golf. Why do I want to do something? I'm good at helping people find something that could help them in life. And that's why I think, man, I'm going to do this till I die. So I mean, that's what we should be working for. I mean, I think we just get trapped in professions, that we thought were good and somebody told us they were good, and so we're there already 10 years, 15 years, 20, 30, 40, whatever. I don't even know why the hell we're stuck there until we retire. Well, even if you are, you could start working part-time. Taking your effort part-time. Look around for these opportunities. Test ideas. It costs no money. Why? I mean, that's why when people take about their investments, they give all their money to some investment advisor who's going to lose it on Wall Street. You have no control over that stuff. Man, it's trying to outguess the other idiots that are doing this stuff. If you're investing all in something that you learn, you're knowing it better than anybody else because you're thinking about it every day. That's what to do with your life, I feel. And that's why then retirement becomes silly, You don't have to worry about it because you're getting up every day. Just can't wait. It's like getting up to go on vacation every day because what you're doing you think is important. And what you're doing is important is more fun than going on vacation unless you're run down and working too hard. So we all need that kind of, recharging and things like that, to have a balanced life. That's what it is. But now, particularly, we're living so long. Well, I mean, retiring at 62, you want to sit on your butt for 30 years? You don't have to. You start a whole new career. You can go back to college. That's right, at 60 years old for free. Get a whole new degree, become a doctor, become a lawyer. Something you always wanted to do. You're going to live 30 more years, so what the hell? That's what's so neat about life. We're living longer, it means we can contribute longer. And we don't have to worry about Social Security paying for everything because the jobs aren't factory jobs anymore. All that Social Security to me and mine was set up when most of us worked in factories. My dad had a factory. I used to work there too, and it was miserable. Most miserable days I spent my life working in a factory. I said, God, I don't want to spend my life working like this. I mean, this is nuts. Half my waking life is spent doing something that's miserable, like sitting in a dentist chair for half the day every day. I don't want to do that. And now in the internet and what's available in our society, that's not necessary. You don't have to live like that. It's all out there. You got to take a little risk, and not much at all because everything on the internet is free. It's easy to test. You got to test. Try this, try this. Nobody knows what works, and nobody knows what works for you. So you just follow your heart. Think of one thing, try it. Shit, doesn't work. Try something else. That's what's neat about everything out there. You could just keep trying and failing until you figure it out, and it won't cost you a nickel. Well, how do you find the best crowdfunding site for you? Man, the real answer is nobody knows. You don't know, I don't know, and all the experts that you're probably going to wind up paying some money to, they don't know either. But you get a better guess, and I think the biggest problem is that be careful. That's all. Just don't jump into everything, because this crowdfunding thing is growing so fast. A couple of years ago, it just started like 4 or 5 years ago, and if you go to Google now and Google crowdfunding websites, you get 2 million websites, 2 million already, And again, first people you'll see people trying to sell you something, mine better than you, and they're not unbiased opinions, so you got to be very careful. Or I put in best crowdfunding websites, and actually the first article, somebody wrote an article that's 2 years old, and in this world, 2 years is like forever, So be careful, what you get. And just the most important thing, I think, make any kind of decision, just don't jump at the first pretty face, you see. Now, I've been studying websites, these crowdfunding, for about 3 years. Now, I've done 700 interviews on these. And so what I'd like to show you is my instincts of what I think are the best ones out there. And nobody knows everything, and I don't know what the real best are. I'll tell you what pops up. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people who have used crowdfunding and everything, and they all have, everyone has a different story on why this is better or that's better or whatever. So there's no one opinion you could get on what is the best website. Now, for crowdfunding, you have to remember there's 3 different kinds of crowdfunding. Crowdfunding means just going down to a lot of people and having a lot of people give you money instead of going to one person like a bank or some fat cat investor that they give you all the money you need, or your brother-in-law or something like that. But no, this is sort of on the internet, so you get hundreds of people. You are one person going to hundreds of people. And that's the power of this thing, to find this. And the kinds of crowdfunding money that's available, the most popular one now is pledges. Pledge, you don't have to give back. So it's free money on the internet. And remember, all these crowdfunding sites, they cost nothing. And maybe there's a few specialty ones that charge us some small upfront fee, but no, it costs you nothing to try. So that's an important thing. It doesn't hurt if you're wrong. If you choose the right site you think is right and you're wrong, it doesn't matter. You learn. So why play the Super Bowl, the first day out, when you could practice on some of these smaller sites and get more help from people, Because when you go to the bigger sites, you get less help. You have to do it all yourself, and there's less, people are less available to hold your hand and stuff like that. And even in the most popular sites, what's better and best? And I've talked to people who made $1 million on this one, $1 million on that one, and tried both. And the one that people would think that'd be more was less. And So there's no right answer. And when you don't know the right answer for you, what happens is we become vulnerable and we expect somebody else, hey, I knows the magic answer, and just give me the magic answer and then I'll do what you say because you're right. Nah, they're wrong. I'm wrong too. You got to figure out what's right for you. So let me go through some stuff that I've learned in, like 2.5 years and talking to over 700 people who've used these sites and talking to people who manage these sites. And I'll show you videos of the people, who use the site, videos of the people who run the sites. So we got dozens and dozens of videos here that I'm going to tell you about on how to use them. Now the biggest site around now is Kickstarter. They're the grandfather of all this stuff. They're the biggest thing. So they're going to give you the least amount of help, and they're the most bureaucratic. And that's what's called a pledge site. Now the pledge site, again, will cover loans and equity when these are sites that you get business partners from the crowds. Hey, that sounds like a good business. I'll become a partner for you. Or loans, and we'll cover those a little later. But the most popular ones, like Kickstarter, that's a pledge site. So, hey, I like your idea. And remember, your idea doesn't have to be complete. When you do something on here, you just have an idea. Hey, I want to do this. I need money to make it happen. And you go on and look for the money to make it happen. So Kickstarter, they're the big one. The other big one is Indiegogo. Now, they're, like Hertz and Avis of these things. And the third big one is GoFundMe. Now, they're the three big sites. Now, if you list for the biggest sites, everybody has their own list of biggest. But after those three, it's anybody's game. And really, there's I've heard as many as 1,000 websites out there, that have crowdfunding features on it. So it's a huge universe. It changes every day. So 2 days after I talk, it's probably going to be different or whatever. But so that's why I want to give you a little background on how to choose the right site for you. So mainly to show you the kinds of different sites out there. So we have the pledge sites, the top three: Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe. Here's another interesting one. We have a video of this person too, the fellow who runs the site, fundraiser. Now they did, they raised $1 million for somebody in 80 days around the world in 80 days. No, he got $1 million. Great little site. They see after the big guys, a lot of them, the others really concentrate on helping you personally, because see, they make a percentage of what you get. Now the other thing about a lot of sites is like winner take all. Like Kickstarter, the big site, you have to get all the money you need or you get nothing. So in other words, you need $10,000 to do something. If you get $9,000, you get nothing. The other sites, a lot of them don't work that way. So a lot of the other ones don't. Kickstarter seems to be holding the reins on kicking that. So the way to do that, just put a real small number in there, and you're going to get that, and you keep going. So that's what most people do, on those limits, that they have. So fundraiser. Another one. Here's another little cute one called Buckkeystador. Now there's a woman deciding, hey, this is like for people with their bucket list. And to go get money to fund their bucket list in life. See, I mean, you can't imagine the kinds of things that are out there to go crowdfunding. That's what the idea of this video is, to educate you the options that are out there. And they're fun, things you didn't know. See, the biggest problem to me in life is knowing the questions to ask. Here's another one, crowded.com. That's another. And again, it's a small little guy website who does all the work and he helps you do it and everything. So that's why on these smaller sites, man. So instead of getting into the big ones and getting overwhelmed by all this, it may be a good strategy to start with one of these small ones, try and see how it goes, and then go to another one. Community funded. Now that's a nice fella I talked to because they run community program. They want to get fundraising for local groups, local organizations, local businesses, and stuff like that. And Funder Hut is another one like that. See, a lot of these things are really aiming at the community. So they're trying to get people in the community to help fund your project. Like you want to open up a coffee shop. So who would be better than to fund your coffee shop than the people in the community, right? So if you need 50 grand for the coffee shop or whatever, and then and that's why these are more local oriented kind of things, that may be the kind of thing, because you get local people, then they become your salesmen too, because the more people you get to give you money, then they believe in what you're doing, man. And you name a coffee cup after them or something like that. See, there's so many neat things to do like like that. And there's lots of little ones. And then also special interest crowdfunding sites. So here's one called Chip and Ship. Now this is, you chip in money for somebody so they could ship a gift. Oh, I need money to go back to school, or I need money, to buy knapsacks for my kids. And it's a small little site like that. See, who would have known that even ask? And see, you learn the tips of asking for help like that. Or here's one, Feather Your Nest. This is on housing. So this is where people need housing. You need down payment money. You need to fix up your roof or whatever. That's all that crowdfunding site is for. And that's, again, money that you don't have to pay back. Here's one for videos and movies called seedandspark.com. Man, I mean, this is, you want to raise money. You can do it on one of these big sites. Remember the big sites we talked about, the general purpose ones, you can do anything. I've seen people there get $10,000 to taste their potato salad. And see, if it's a product, you give them a product for free, when you make it. And that's how a lot of these things do. So that's one. There's for real estate, realtymogul.com, okay? Now that's for real estate investors. That's for little guys to be going with the big guys. And actually, I have I'm going to interview someone now who just did a review of 100 real estate websites. See, there's 100 real estate websites. So as I'm doing this video, next week I'm going to interview a guy that does a report. So if you Google 100 real estate crowdfunding sites, and you'll see his report on that. We're going to interview and talk to him. Now here's two good ones just for writers and authors. If you're an author, you have something to write. Man, you'll learn the system. Being on these two sites, one is called pubflush.com, pubslush.com, and the other one's Incubate, INKUBATE.com. I mean, they're both for learning the publishing system. It's so different now. I mean, when I was writing books, man, and I wrote 10 of them for these people in New York, 2 New York Times bestsellers, the business isn't like that anymore. All the agents and publishers go to sites like this to look for interesting things to maybe get behind, or they help you publish it yourself so you could sell some copies and then get behind, or raise money, get $10,000, to publish it yourself on these sites. And actually, see, all the other big sites too, you could put them on there too. I've talked to a lot of people who publish and got money for their publishing, on these big sites. Okay, now here's a great site for artists. It's called Patreon, like patronage, Patreon, Patreon.com. Man, I interviewed the guy, about a year ago, and a year later, he's already giving out $1 million a month to artists. Graphic designers, dancers, photographers, anything. $1 million a month. I said, wow, how is that going to happen? When I first talked to him, I said, I don't know what's going on. Nobody does. And the experts are really, they get you trapped into something. You have to learn by yourself anyway. And so get a little bit of knowledge, try something, pick your butt up, and try it again. Here's an interesting one for teachers and education. Pick my class. The teacher wants some money to do something like that. Go on a field trip, buy a new computer in their class or something like that. And that's the fellow, I think everybody in his family were teachers, and he just wants to help them. See, this is a .org. Look at those websites that are .org. They're most nonprofit, and they're not out to rip as much money out of your pocket as possible. The other one, big one on that, I don't have an interview for yet, but DonorsChoose.org. Donors, D-O-N-O-R-S, choose, C-H-O-O-S-E.org. That's a big one for teachers to get funding for things they want to do. Here's one just for sports. Like if you're a pretty good golfer where you live, and hey, I want to go on the tour, the mini tour for a little bit, and you raise money for that. Or you want to go to a camp to develop your skill to be a tennis player or something. You raise money on that just for sports people. Well, here's one, superiorideas.org. This is for the University in Michigan, and it's a place for academics academics to raise money for their research projects, getting research grant money. Do it online. You don't have to go to a nonprofit or a government agency or something. No, you get research. Man, I have interviewed this guy who was studying something on horses, and he raised $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 so he could do this research on horses. How about bands and even speakers? Gig Funder is a place that actually fans could get their band to come into town when they get enough people say, hey, we'll come and buy tickets. So they can buy tickets ahead of time. That gets the band in town. Pretty cute little site. Pledge Music. Man, that's another thing. That's for musicians and bands and stuff like that. And what's interesting about that is that, man, when I talk to the guys, they have an 80% success rate. So 80% of the people, the musicians on that website that want to get money, make their quota. Man, 80%. You're not going to get that anywhere. Okay, now for business money, again, those general websites are all business money. You could go for anything. You take a look at the samples, like Indiegogo and GoFundMe and Kickstarter, all those general sites we mentioned earlier. They all help businesses. But here's just loan money for businesses. Those other money are not loan. This is just loan money. And see, what's neat about the loan money is cheaper. What they're doing now is they're trying to get local people, give money, loan money to local entrepreneurs. So again, they're invested, and they know, because then you have a marketing person too. If somebody owns, like, you start a restaurant, I loan you money for your restaurant, and then I feel like an owner. So, you treat me special when I come in. I'm going to tell people about your restaurant and everything because I want to make sure I get my money back. But more importantly, the rates they could charge, because all it is all electronic. No big fat cats, sitting behind some big office building or whatever it is. No, the overhead is so small that the interest rates are a fraction of what you get at a bank. So there's investnextdoor.com, new little site. Woman does this, terrific. She was in community development first, and so that was, hey, that's the problem with this world. Small businesses can't get the money, so she's helping them. CommunitySourceCapital.com. I mean, there's another small group trying to get money for local entrepreneurs to do something at good rates. So the bank don't, when you need money, usually the bank doesn't want to give you money, unless you don't need it. So this is for people who need money. Fundingcommunity.com. That's another thing. It's small loans, at reasonable rates. And here's another one, just to finance inventory, or not only inventory, but receivables. P2BI.com. I was on the phone right before I got this, and some guy had a big deal down in the Bahamas. I told him about them. Well, here's ZIDISHA.org. This nice young woman, has thousands and thousands of people she helped in underdeveloped countries start businesses with loans. Very cheaper loans that they can get in the bank. And again, it's a .org. Another one like that. I don't have an interview with them, but some people have used them. Zip.kiva.org. Kiva is a big crowdfunding thing all over, mostly in underdeveloped. This is their U.S. branch that helps small businesses. Listen to this, 0% interest, 0 fees for small business loans. Man, SBA is going to go out of business. And so are the banks, if more people know about this. And there's two other things I don't have interviews for, but I've interviewed with somebody who uses both of these, an expert on these, lendingclub.com and prosper.com. They're the two big ones. I mean, they do billions and billions of dollars of business of loans that are cheaper than the banks. So many people then now, when they have credit card debt, they're going to these two websites, and getting loans at a cheaper rate to pay off their credit card, and they make money doing that, So it's a great place to check. And again, it's a crowd. See, where they get the money is people. This is a good place to invest your money. Maybe you make more than in the stock market or anything else, because you lend it to people out there, and the only place is a middleman is the website. See, and so the overhead is nothing. That's why the bureaucracies and the infrastructure, man, that's going to be going, because we could do all this electronically, and none of these high-priced middlemen are involved. Now, the other way in business money is equity. That means you get a partner. Somebody, you know, it's like getting married. Somebody wants a piece of you. And there's a lot of websites for that. SimBid, you know, that's for crowdfunding. Actually, this one does 3. Crowdfunding loans and investors. Or ProHatch, they do crowdfunding and investors. Now, the investors are rich investors. There's a lot of investment money out there, and only fat cats could invest on the internet in crowdfunding. Soon it's going to be anybody, you and I, and now you have to have an income of like $200,000 to be an investor. But you could go and look for these investors on these websites here that I'm telling you about, and because a matter, you know, you don't have to be rich to have a business, you have to be rich to invest in a business. And so you can put your businesses there to find investors, you know, and that's what's so. So you have SimBid, ProHatch, TrueCrowd, My Micro Invest, you know, Bank to the Future, you know, and all of these things are, some of them are even in Europe, but they don't care. If you're an American company, they got fat cats over there that will be happy to invest in it. You know, so it doesn't matter. You could, for your bar you're going to open up down the street, you know, people in Europe will fund you. Yeah, you just have to know about it. Now that's going to change, and here TrueCrowd.com, that's in the new. There's a new law they've been talking about for years, the last 3 years, and every month they say it's going to be next month, and that's where individuals can invest, not just the fat cats, into businesses in an equity. So I could have a business, and so that means a small business can raise capital. If they do that now through investors, it really, you know, you have to go to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and that takes forever, you know. And so now it's going to be small investors will be able to go on a website. It's available in some states, I think, like Illinois, Texas. Here's a website in Texas, TrueCrowd.com. They do that in Texas. So if you live in Texas, have a business in Texas, you could get, you know, $100 a piece from 1,000 people in Texas and $100,000 for your business. Nowhere else you could do that, but you will be able to do that soon. Sterling Funder, that's another one of those websites. Okay, the other kind of website I think is very important are those that are really help people with, you know, hardship or bad times or medical bills or problems in their life or society and things like that. And I consider them special because there's some place you could go to and either for yourself and your own family get, like you have a dental bill that it's unheard of and you can't get out of it. Well, here's a way to do that, you know, get money for that. Or you know somebody down the street, man, their husband just died, they don't know what to do. You could go on here and raise money for them, you know. And so that's what's neat about these sites. You have a chance to be a superhero, you know, and the big ones, you know, that I have here, I talked to most of these already, and I have interviews like GiveForward.com. You know, that's what they do, and just help people like that. A lot of it with medical bills. We still have a lot, even with Obamacare. People start YouCaring.com. Look at one of these sites and just see the kinds of help they give. You know, and again, it costs you nothing to do it on. Nothing, and there's very little effort to do a website. They're really make it easy for anybody because they want you to do that and raise the money. The hard part is getting people to know about it. You know, mycause.com.au. That's a lady in Australia runs a site like that. Very successful. Causewish.com. That's another one. Cause to Fund is another one. You know, and that's why we have the power now in all of our hands to just do exciting things without money. Sure, it's going to take you effort, you know, to figure out how to do this, figure out how to get people to your website and everything. These people, and most of them, the big ones, you were not going to get a lot of help with. But the smaller ones, man, they want to help you because if you make money, they're making money. You don't get any money, they don't get any money. The big guys don't care as much. You know? And that's it. But just, I think the main thing is to be careful about people. You'll search the internet for help, and people are there to charge you hundreds, charge you thousands of dollars to help you with your crowdfunding site. And unless you have money to burn and you don't care, man, no. I mean, that's like, you know, to me, it's almost like hiring mercenary soldier to fight for your country. They're not going to fight. Maybe they enjoy killing people, but it's not going to be the same as it's you, and you're behind there, and you're making the decision because it's your life, and you'll be able to grab opportunities better than anybody who's doing this for you. And if you learn a skill like this, you could learn yourself, and then you'll be able to use it again for the rest of your life anytime you need something. If you're going to be helpless and give money to people, and that's why I always say the best businesses I used to start with people aimed at rich people, because they have a lot of money and too lazy, right? But the best things that are important for you is to learn as much yourself so you can get more out of it and contribute more out of it, and really learn what works for you. Everything in life works differently for all of us, and we have to learn what works for us. And the only way to do that is to get out there and try it yourself. The older I get, the more I realize I don't really know what the hell is right to do in life. But nobody is, and that's the problem I see. We're all insecure. We don't know the right answer to everything. We don't know what will make money and things like that. So we go out searching and asking other people. Well, and because we're insecure, we think that somebody else knows some magic, and they have the answer, things like that, but they don't. And this next interview epitomizes that for me. This is an app that brings your friends together. It's not like Facebook and stuff like that. It's really more than that. It's really to get you out of the house and do things with other people on a spontaneity time. It's sort of like Uber, if you have a free car, you could log it on to Uber and you can make money with that car. The same way, you have free time, you log onto this and you say, I want to go to a movie, and all the people, hey, I'm up right now to go to a movie. So, if someone said to me, God, I don't know if that's going to work and things like that, and I couldn't advise. Give them my opinion, but that doesn't say whether it's going to work or they can make money on it. And I would have been wrong, because I didn't think something like this. Oh, who needs it? Man, they got $25,000 in a couple weeks on the internet. People throwing money on it. Hey, I like this idea. Why don't you finish it? Here's money to help you finish it, because it's great. It's called collude. So you're in collusion together, with other people. And that's why it just shows that, man, you have to have an open mind about anything. And also, you can't trust the experts. You can't tell, you ask somebody, what do you think of this idea? And they say it's lousy and it's not going to make money. Maybe they're not going to buy it. But what the hell? That's one person out of 9 billion people in the world. And you have access to all those billions. I guess it's, 6 billion or 9? It's going to be 9. It's 6 billion now or something like that. And so all those people now on the internet, so who cares what one person? And one expert, man, experts really, get their expertise or whatever because they have to make you believe they know some magic. Because you're not going to pay them a lot of money, if you think they're guessing. But their only honest answer is they don't know. They have to be guessing. Nobody could tell. Look at the smartest brains in the world were on Wall Street thinking that was going to last forever, and it went down the toilet, right? And these are people with PhDs from Harvard running this stuff. Nobody knows, man. That's why, it's really, you want to get information from other people and to see if you're doing something that you didn't see in a blind spot or whatever. But relying on somebody else about their idea of your success or failure is nuts. It's absolutely crazy. They don't even know what the hell to do themselves. How can they tell you what to do? They think they're guessing. It changes every day. We live in a world, man, that is changing by the second. Nobody knows. Look, who would have thought that, the Washington Post would go out of business? The New York Times is next. ABC, NBC, CBS, they're almost nowhere. Nobody watches those things anymore. God, or who would have thought that gay marriages would be legal now? Marijuana is legal. Man, it just, the world. Now we're bringing jobs back from China. We now produce more oil than Saudi Arabia. In my time, man, that would be unheard of. Younger people don't know any different. So that's why, just be careful with experts. And now you have a way on the internet to get the real answer. You have an idea about this will work, make money, and you go on the internet, you go crowdfunding sites or something, and you find out, you develop your idea almost just about enough as you tell your father for his opinion, your mother, your aunt, or whatever like that. But you do it on the internet, and then people send you money. So if they send you money, you know it's a good idea. If they don't send you money, you ain't got a good idea. Asking your parents or your friends or relatives. That's what I used to do. I used to show my videos of commercials to my friends and relatives, and I'd take their advice and make changes. Then I realized, man, they never bought anything from TV. What am I listening to them for? We're all so tied up in trying to impress other people in our circles, our friends and relatives. Why do we buy a bigger car? Not to get down the street any faster, right? No, it's to impress somebody else, right? Why do we buy a bigger house? It's not to sleep any more comfortable. No. These big houses are as big as hospitals now. What the hell are you doing? Impress somebody else, right? So most of the things we do is to impress other people. And the only people we want to impress is the customer. So that's what you're here for in your business. So the faster you get to find out what the customer thinks of your product, not experts, not everybody else. And the way to do that cheaper than asking an expert is to get on the internet and get on a crowdfunding site or whatever and find out if they're going to throw money at you. Yeah. And you could do that cheaper than any other thing and get the real answer. So watch this interview, how they did it. With the thing that, man, I had no idea it was going to make money. I'm wrong. Well, Aaron Wagner with collude. And I didn't even know you misspelled collude. You were telling me the English teacher's version of how to spell it. But who cares? We're never going to use it. But we're going to use yours. KOLUD.com. And it's just amazing what you guys have done. I mean, this is something you're just preparing now on a crowdfunding campaign. But it's really a way, to improve productivity at the office. It's incredible. Eliminate, loneliness in anybody's life. I mean, connecting people together like they've never been connected. Oh, I got Facebook. But no, you don't got Facebook. It's not like collude, is it? Now, collude tells you about, you put in your activities what you love doing, and other people just, hey, I'm ready to do that. And if you're ready, it's almost like Uber, because it's sharing your spare time resources to do fun thing, isn't it? When you have spare time.
That's a great description. One thing I love about Collude, though, is that it's specifically about maximizing the social network you already have. It's not that you need to go out and make new friends. You have plenty of friends already. The problem is you don't know when they're available or if they'd be interested in going out tonight. So step one with Collude is let's help people actually harness all of those relationships they already have. Yep, Collude plans your social life for you.
Wow. And really, so you put ahead of time what you're interested in, too. And it seems that, a lot of people say, well, I'm very active in social media, but this is really getting, it's almost like your personal meetup stuff for not around an activity, but around a person. So it's meetups around persons, right? And then you can say, hey, well, I never went camping. Maybe I'll go with them, because I know I like the people and they're going camping. And instead of calling 80 people
Yeah. Especially since you can only call someone and be turned down so many times before it gets awkward.
Yes. But more importantly, man, now you had something like for the health professionals, like people who have, some kind of a relationship. I mean, they're just so much more healthier, right? And
it's well documented that loneliness is as bad for our health as smoking or obesity or just sitting around all day. Not only mentally, but physically as well. For example, having a loved one touch your hand has been documented to have positive impact on your health by reducing your blood pressure.
Wow.
So
what's her name? I want to know her name.
So it's not enough that we have connections. Like Facebook is vitally important for knowing what's going on in your friends and family lives, but we need to take it a step beyond that. We need a technology that will put you in contact with your friends and then get out of the way and let you just have social interaction.
So it eliminates, you see that movie Her? You know, the like the Surrey character that this guy falls in love with, the app, the mechanical lady on his app, you know. You know, that these mechanical people are becoming so good. So now it eliminates some, and really for people, it's easy to get lonely because we all work so bloody hard, you know. You know, in this country, I mean, we work like 2 months a year more than any other developed country or something like that.
And there's something to be said for work hard, play hard. Yeah. But when figuring out how to play is just more work, all you're doing is working more. Right. So if you have an instantaneous way of knowing, here's what I could go do right now, and here are the people I could do it with, you're spending more quality time with the people who lift you up, you're doing more activities you enjoy, and also getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. You don't feel like you're stagnating.
Yes. That's the important thing. I think, you know, we learn from interaction with people who are not normally in our life. I mean, that's where the spirit, I think, comes from, and the creativity. And, you know, that's why we're all crowding around in cities nowadays, too, because that helps, you know, create more jobs and create more excitement and things to do, and we develop faster. And now, but you say also moms. Man, this is ideal for busy moms, isn't it?
Absolutely, because busy moms... for example, how hard is it for them to keep in touch with their old college friends? Like, moms get so busy, the first thing that they let drop is their own personal well-being most of the time. On the other hand, moms who have very young children often deal with isolation because they're stuck in the house all the time with their toddlers who throw tantrums in public. And that's not a pleasant experience for them, so they just stay home. If they could know which of their other moms with kids were available right now, they could invite them over or go over to the other one's house. They can meet together at the park or at the aquarium. But that brick wall you can't see through that keeps you from knowing who's available and what you could do together, it's about time that wall came down. Well,
you're doing it all in this little app. And the video you have on Indiegogo is cute as hell. I don't know who did that in your group there, but that's a clever little video, and anybody's got to see that anyway. And the neat thing about the app, man, this is going to be free, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be free to users.
Wow, that's true. But now you can get in on it for less than, what, $5 to help you promote? But you're doing something special with a lot of this money, aren't you?
Yes. Well, the first thing is that it will be free to users eventually. Like when it's available, it will be free, but we're going to have a beta period, of course, when we're first launching the app, where we only can let in so many users per day. And so our backers for $5 can be one of those very their friends to be on Collude. They can be the ones that giving all of their friends access to Collude and also giving us feedback about how they'd like it adjusted to better accommodate their social lives.
No, and that's part of social media too. You have able to do that now, you know, with these platforms like Indiegogo or whatever. But now, if I contribute more, like $30, I mean, you're hooked up with a nonprofit organization. Explain that process. What's going on?
Yes. Okay, so actually any amount of money that you contribute to Collude, you will have the opportunity to earmark for the nonprofit of your choice. Because imagine that you are really passionate about animal rights. Well, that means that you probably support your local humane society. You know that they have a pet adoption day coming up. We can make sure that that activity, the pet adoption day, is promoted to all of the Collude users within 2 miles of their location who have anything on their list having to do with animals. So it's a really great way to make sure that your favorite nonprofit is getting access to the people that they need access to. Having worked for various nonprofits myself and done lots of volunteer work, getting butts in seats is one of the most difficult things. Like, everybody wants the Syrian refugees to have the resources that they need, but nobody knows what to do about it right now except a few nonprofits who don't have the budget or the wherewithal to educate the masses. So we're hoping that Collude will help bridge that. If you care right now about a particular issue, you can get on, find out what you can do from a local nonprofit about that right now.
Wow.
And our contributors get to decide who those nonprofits are. So if you if you contribute less than $30, then say you contribute $25,
Right.
your nonprofit gets $25 of promotion. Wow. But if you contribute more than 30, we'll double that promotion.
I see. Wow.
And if you contribute more than, I can't remember, is it more than 100 or more than 50? I think it's more than 100.
I think it is 100. Yeah, it's like triple or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So I get help you with $100, and then $300 because of my favorite nonprofit of services from you guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the goal with Collude is to replace loneliness and apathy with purpose and belonging. You can have people and you can have meaningful things to do with those people right now, provided that we can get people to help us build it.
I understand. So that's what it is. So you got to go to Collude, K-O-L-U-D. Very easy to spell. Just don't look at the dictionary trying to find Collude. KOLUD.com. That's how you get to your website. Then you link it to Indiegogo. Man, you're halfway there already. You got a few more weeks. You got to make this thing, and then you may even have time to go skiing this winter out in Salt Lake City if all goes well. Well, thank you so much, Aaron. Nice work you're doing and helping us to loneliness. Unfortunately, we got so much going on in life, and so many people are lonely, and we just can't connect. It's so hard. So you're making it easier. That's Collude, KOLUD.com. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now where else can you make $45,000 in 30 days at a part-time job? That's what this next interview is all about. Man, that's the power of what's available out there today. Man, we used to dream of that, or you had to play the lottery and one in a zillion chances of doing something like that. But now it's possible. Man, it's just phenomenal what's out there now for people. I mean, this is through crowdfunding, and that's what it is. You have a decent idea. You worked on it for a while till you get an idea what it is, so you can see. You don't even need a final product. You need just a sample. That's all you need. And you go on the internet, and it costs you nothing to do that. You don't need accountants. You don't need lawyers. You don't need a business plan. You don't need a credit check or any of these kinds of things. Where else are you going to have an opportunity like that? That's why I believe now in our society, it's now easier than ever before, to do something important and to start a new career part-time. You don't have to do full-time. You don't have to, move out of your house and live in a tent until you figure out what to do. No, you can do this part-time. Give up your golf game or your bowling league or whatever the heck you do, on the side. And this is a way to really build a future. I mean, I think it's the best way to invest for the future, but also retirement, man. I mean, retirement sounds dumb, because you want to give, you want to contribute for the rest of your life, and this is a way to do it. So you work something on the part-time and build this little business or practice or whatever you have so that it could be a full-time, and provide the security and also the satisfaction. We want to give in life, and that's the important thing. And this is a place for you to give as much as you can without stupid meetings or dumb bosses or anything. Just you and your ideas. So watch this interview. Well, John Puscio, is that close enough?
That's close enough.
But who cares, man? Because you got a website nobody could forget, and it's novelttins.com, and that's novel like in a book novel, right? Because you have tins now that look like the great books of history or whatever, novels, and they're full of tea. I mean, they're just a beautiful thing. I mean, people aren't seeing these things. They got to go to Kickstarter to see these things because it's a whole tin of tea, but it looks like a book, a classic book. And then the names, man, what's your favorite name of the tea, Chef?
Oh, I think one of my favorites. So we just did a crowd selection. People chose Pippi Longstocking, which we think is fantastic. We've got, Matcha Do About Nothing.
Matcha.
One that panned out so well, our first one was Don Quixote, Man of La Mancha by Cervantes. Yeah, that one just keeps giving.
Well, that's like 4 different levels you have to know to get all that stuff. I mean, I got the first one, and then
it's really fun, and we've got so many.
Man, and especially now, I mean, you're on Kickstarter, and it's like nothing. What's the starting on this thing? What's the starting price?
Oh, we started. I think it's like $18 for a tin, or $15 for a tin. Yeah, it's not much.
Tin. I mean, it's a work of art. You got designers. I mean, it's bigger than a big what is it? Physics textbook.
Yeah, it's a real book. It looks like a real book. And we're gonna put up some great pictures later this week. And one thing that I think is a really great deal I want to get across is to anyone who's looking is they look great together. It's a library of these novelty tins that we want to make, and we want to keep going. Yeah. We've got a great deal if you get into that collector's set. That's 3 tins, and we're giving you a 4th one for free. So you're getting them for about $15.
It's like T-shirts, but these are tins.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to see some T-shirts too one of these days. The triple pun.
Buy 3 tins and get the 4th one free. Actually, I was somewhere in a conference room, and I was looking on they had a library there, and the books. And they were all fake books. You buy books by the yard just to show them. They're not even real books. So you can do this. Fill up a library with the tins because they look like beautiful classic works, but really they're your tea bins.
Yeah, you could put anything in them. Drink the tea or don't drink the tea. I mean, we think the tea is great. Don't get me wrong. It's organic tea. It's wonderful. Right. It's paired to the book, so you're getting a tea that tastes like a major theme from the book. But then, moreover, you just put your secret stash in one of these.
Right. Right. Well, now it's not secret anymore. It's legal, at least in Maryland. Isn't it legal? Oh, I see. Your jewelry. Yeah, I see. Oh, that stuff. I see. Yeah. But it's right. They're just beautiful, beautiful things.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. We have so many artists to thank for it, to be honest. I'm not the artist, nor the graphic designer for that matter. So we'll certainly be passing that along.
Yeah, we have to thank somebody. Thank somebody. But you're right. I mean, the talent that's out there in the world that goes undeserved or unrecognized is, and probably undeserved. They don't, and they should, because I mean, these are the real people bringing joy and beauty to their life, and you to represent it in a product. I mean, that's really practical. So now instead of having just a piece of cardboard old cigar box hold stuff,
you have something beautiful, something that's funny. It'll remind you of a great piece of literature. It'll look good. You can talk about it if you want to brag about how sophisticated you are, or you can just...
And if you don't say anything, they think you read all those books.
Although they may stop you. They may see the spelling as a...
Right. Oh, that's right. Well, but if it's one like me, I'm so illiterate, I would... Oh, you read all those. You history majors would know better, or English majors. But I mean, and you have, 4 or 5 different choices now?
We've got 4 choices now. It's Don Quixote, Man of La Mancha by Cervantes. It's Oscar Wilde's picture of Earl Grey. Oh my God. A playoff of Dorian Gray. Right. And then what am I missing? We have so many in our heads. Crime and Punishment has not been done yet. War and Peach, of course.
Oh, War and Peach.
Organic peach chunks, a white tea with chamomiles, the Russian national flower, and of course it's just.
So for $18 you get the whole box, beautiful box, full of tea, and by Christmas. I mean, you guys are shipping by Christmas, aren't you?
Well, actually, so you get the full box. The box alone is $18. With the tea, it's $25. Okay, that's right. And then you get 4 of them for $60.
Oh, that's a wonder. I mean, what a gift. I mean, people don't know what to give, and they give crap stuff, and going to the mall and buying stuff they'll never use. Here's something that's elegant, stuff you're going to use that's full of tea. Everybody's going to do that. And if they're coffee monsters, it's about time they do this. And so what could be a better gift? And you get this now because you won't have the deal. I mean, once you guys go retail, it's going to be more expensive, right? And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it'll probably go up a little bit. We'll see. In some ways, we're getting better at this, but I definitely think right now is the best deal we'll have for a while. Sooner or later we'll figure out a way to make them cheap again. But yeah, we think this is a really amazing opportunity to kind of not only help us get this project off the ground. We want to make 50 novelty tins if we can, but you're also getting a good deal, especially if you're buying on this Kickstarter.
Right.
I mean, we actually might run out before Christmas. That's our goal, our goal and our fear. You know, we
well, it's a nice problem. Well, order now so you get yours for Christmas and get it on the line, and you go to Novelteas, NOVELTEATINS, Novelteas Tins, noveltytins.com, and that will take you to Kickstarter, right? That's where you order, and you see the collection of 4. Take 1, take an empty box, take a 4 box. I actually get a deal with 4. Now you have 4 different gifts, right?
Yeah, honestly, it's a great solution. People will think you're sophisticated. They'll think you're smart. They'll thank you for the tea. Right. They're fun. I want you to look at the tin and enjoy looking at it for 10, 20 years. Honestly, we spent a lot of time on all those little drawings to make them all visual puns. You know, we're referencing things from the book. We're mixing in elements of the tea flavor onto the cover and the spine. It's fun to look at, and we want you to kind of try and figure out the little riddles.
That's right. Now you should at least look at your video, because there you see what those covers are like. You know, because if you don't get one now, you're going to start seeing them pop up everywhere, and just enjoy the artwork that's on these things. Well, John, thank you so much. Great to talk with you. I'm glad you stopped for a minute saving arsenic from third world countries or underdeveloped countries to help enjoy.
A lot of great things to do on planet Earth, so not a problem.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sean. Take care.
Thank you as well. You too.